For this next stage, it's important to have the clock down, face down on a level bench or table. It's best not to do it up in the air or upside, especially not upside down. The reason why is because we're going to free the chains. And it's held, they're bundled up in this paper or sometimes plastic bag, and these chains are holding it all together, or this wire is holding the chains all together. So you want to untwist the wire, or you could cut it off if you have some wire snips, and straighten it out. And this is why this is the important part now, because this wire, as you can see, is threaded through the chains, and so it's holding a bit of tension between the chains and where they're wrapped around the gear on the inside. And so from this point on, you never want to tip the clock upside down so that the bottom part is up, because the chains have a good possibility of falling off of the wheel that they're wrapped around on the inside. So we can now, as long as we have it so that it's not upside down, we can unthread this wire, pull it out. Another possibility is to do this while it's on the wall, but sometimes that's difficult, especially with small clocks. So just be sure you're always safe as long as these chains don't become too loose and they go back up into the clock. Then it'll get off of the gears. So once we have it now in this position, we'll want to turn it so that the bottom of the clock is down, and only handle the clock from now on in this position. This is another clock, and I'm going to hang our new clock in this clock's position. I'm leaving it running because I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you, whenever you move a clock off of the wall, you want to make sure that it's fully wound. So I had this clock unwound so I can show you why. The first thing you want to do is take the two loose chains, in other words the chains that aren't connected to the weights, and pull them up so that the weight comes up. Now, it's very important that you do not touch the side with the weight at all. There's a tendency either to help it up while you're pulling or to pull it down while you're pulling. Either way is not a good idea. It's best always just to touch this chain, the loose one, the one without the weight on it, in order to wind the clock properly. If you pull on this one, there's a good chance you'll break the chains. If you lift up while you're pulling the other one, the loose one, there's a good chance that it'll come off the track that we talked about before on the inside. So it's really just the best idea just to pull one side. The chains aren't going to break. They're plenty strong enough to hold that weight and to bring it up. They've been holding that weight for years while the clock has been running. So they can certainly hold it while you pull on it to wind the clock. So that's how you would properly wind any weight-driven clock, including cuckoo clocks. And then to move it, you always want to remove the pendulum and the two weights. Now, because the clock is completely wound, and all the dangly parts, the weights and the pendulum are removed, it's safe to move the clock off of the wall. And remember, I'm being careful to hold it always this way so that the weights are down and the chains are down. Sorry, no weights yet, we don't have any weights on it, but the chains are facing down. You can see that this pendulum leader is also out of the track. The chains are down, the hooks are down, so it's ready to be hung. And now we can unwrap this entirely and let the chains fall to the ground. It's usually easiest to hang the pendulum first because it's in the back. So I'll unwrap it from the paper. There's our pendulum. And that hooks on the pendulum leader in the back. And the two weights. Hook them on. One and two. That's perfectly normal that happens. It's just, it's also normal if it doesn't happen. Just happened to have been when the clock was packed that it was just right in the strike setting. And then we can put on the decorative top piece. In this case, this top piece has clips on the side which clip to the roof part. It's also very common to have L-shaped pins that come out of the top piece and go down, and those pins would fit into holes on the roof of the clock. But in this case, it just clips right on, clips and fit.